food wasn't much good, but on that ship they had tablecloths on the tables and silver and waiters that waited on us. And although, like I say, the food wasn't so good, the service was wonderful. And then we got to England. They put us on a train, and on the 4th of July, 1944, I was on a train going to the base where I was to be stationed. And the base was a little town called Debac, D-E-B-A-C-H, and it was the headquarters of the 493rd Bomb Group. And I was in the 862nd Squadron of the 493rd Bomb Group. And this little town was about 8 or 10 miles from Ipswich, which was right on the Atlantic, or actually on the Channel. And so I started training with the 493rd, and
what did you think about that when you?
Well, you know, the things that we were learning there were things that we needed to know, because they're altogether different from what we've been taught in the States. Their formation flying was a little different, and these guys had been in combat, and so they actually, the 493rd Bomb Group had only started flying missions on June the 6th, so they were not an old outfit. And so anyway, I trained with them. We got there on the 4th of July, and on the 18th of July I flew my first mission, which I don't remember where it was to, where it went to, but it was in France, and it was a mission that you'd call easy. There was nothing to it. I don't even think we got shot at on that mission. And but I had a lot of problems with the airplane. Once again, I was flying airplanes that seemed to me that they were old, and this airplane kept, one of the propellers kept running away, and my co-pilot and I had to fight the thing. As soon as we dropped our bombs, we feathered it and flew back to England on three engines. And of the first 10 missions I flew in B-24s, I only came back one time with all 4 engines turned. So I did not like that airplane, did not like the engines, and I don't know that the maintenance was at fault, because the same guys maintained our B-17s when we started flying them. We had no problem. I always blamed it on the B-24. I did not like the airplane. I thought it was a very hard airplane to fly. A lot of things I didn't like about it. When I flew the B-17s, I loved everything about the B-17. So,
what did you have any idea at that point what you were getting ready to get into when you went in the 493rd?
Just from what people told us about, you know, that you'll be sorry.
Gosh darn.
I was a replacement crew with the 493rd Bomb Group. They had all trained together. They had all gone overseas together. They all were buddies. And as a result of that, if anybody was scheduled for flying 3 days in a row, it was Lewis and his crew. But as a result of that, I finished my missions before almost any of it. There was only 3 people finished ahead of me, and they were people that had come in like I had come in later. Some of them already had missions when they started flying. My officers and I were in a Quonset hut. We were in one end of the Quonset hut. There was another officer's crew in the other end. When we got there, they had 7 missions. When we finished up our 35th mission, they had 13. So they flew 6 missions while I was flying 35. And but that was good for me, because we got to go home a long time before they were still there when the war was over, I'm sure. But
well, in the next segment, I want to talk about your missions in detail, if you don't mind.
no.
And so now we're talking. Right now we're in what month now?
July of 1944. July 18th, I flew the first mission.
And what you want? how did you deal with the stress level of just what you were just about to get into?
Well, you know, like I said before, when you're 22 years old, it can't happen to you, it's going to happen to somebody else. I think that's the attitude that most people in combat have. That, well, somebody might get shot, but it'll be me. And I think when you finally decide that it could be you, then it might be you. I think there's a whole lot of mental attitude problems with people that go down. I think they have a mental problem as well as, of course, things happen. Airplanes can get hit by a shell and blown up. If that happens to you, there's nothing you can do about it anyway. So I think if your attitude is that I'm going to make it, then your odds of making it are much better.
You feel like the overall attitude of everybody was pretty good? Or
yeah, yeah. We were all young.
Mm-hmm.
We were all young people. War is not for old people. It's, you know, if you stop and think about something, you'll probably make a mistake whenever you've stopped and thought about it. If you act on instinct and your training is good, I think that carries you through better than to stop and say, well, now let's see, should I do this or should I do something else? Or, you know, sometimes it's just, you don't have time to do that. You have to instinctively do the right thing at the right time.
Where was your second mission?
I can't remember.
You kept diaries, is that correct?
Yes, I have a list of all my missions, but only a few stand out in my memory. And I know my 9th mission, I never even, what should have been my 9th mission, I never even got out of England. I blew a part of an engine, a rocker arm on the number 3 engine blew, and we were streaming oil back over the wing. I turned back and went back in before we even left England. My 10th mission was probably the scariest mission that I ever flew because
that was your 10th?
We lost all 4 engines over the target, which was Kassel,
oh my goodness.
Kassel, Germany. And part of that was my fault. We ended up getting 2 of the engines started, and we came back all the way back to England on 2 engines. This was in a B-24, and when I got the airplane under control and 2 engines feathered, we were at about 18,000 feet, and we lost 9,000 feet between there and the English coast. And we had no idea how much gasoline we had because the B-24 had no gas gauges. And
oh my gosh.
so we flew from one patrol boat to another patrol boat all the way across the English Channel under the guidance of the Air Sea Rescue, the British Air Sea Rescue. And I know I was the last airplane out that day, and but we were probably close to an hour behind the rest of them when we got back. But we did get back.
My gosh. Oh my gosh, I cannot even imagine that. And that was your 11th.
That was my 10th,
Oh,
actually
10th.
my 10th. That was my last mission in B-24. And then my group switched, took 2 weeks out of combat and switched to B-17s. It took me 3 months to learn how to fly B-24. And I had one checkout flight in B-17, and that was it. The guy that checked me out had been checked out the day before. B-17 was so much easier to fly. And of course, with the experience of 4 engines bomber behind you, the guy that checked me out said, "I hope you can land this thing, because I can't." And that's the attitude that everybody over there had. You know, they gave you all the credit in the world for being able to fly. And most everybody that was in combat, if they made it, they were good. They were good pilots. And
Is this still on, you think?
I don't know.
I can't even imagine.